सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Invoking the grace of Bhagavan Sri Shankara, invoking the grace of our beloved Guru, Pujya Shri Dayananda Saraswati Swamiji. Today I am happy to start this early morning session Satsanga to give answers for your questions and also clear your doubts. Today is the first day of this session, so I would like to open with a shloka written by Bhagavan Sri Adi Shankara to worship Sri Ganesha. In our Vedic tradition, we begin with Sri Ganesha worship in view of removing any obstacles in our endeavor. Mahaganapati is the remover of all obstacles which are arising through our karma. It is good to concentrate Mahaganapati with Rupa Dhyanam. Mahaganapati's Rupa Dhyanam shows Mahaganapati's image with elephant head. Mahaganapati is the Karuna Murti, and there are no special procedures or rituals required to worship Mahaganapati. Very easy to worship. Even if you make a cone out of turmeric powder, you can invoke Mahaganapati in that cone of turmeric powder and you can pray Mahaganapati. You would have seen in villages of India, people used to make a ball or cone out of cow dung and with decoration of arga grasses. Here in this Ganapati Stotram, Bhagavan Sri Adi Shankara invokes Mahaganapati by way of seeing Mahaganapati as Parabrahman, as the supreme consciousness, as the pure consciousness, Shuddha Chaitanya Rupam. He invokes Mahaganapati with his Swarupa Lakshanam, Sat Chit Ananda Swarupam. So the shloka has to be chanted by the seekers of knowledge. Shreyamsi Bahu Vignani, it is said in Shastras, to indicate that when you are heading to do some auspicious things, there will be some invisible obstacles. Bahu Vignani. To remove those Vignam, obstacles, we worship Vigneshwara, one who is the Lord of Vigna, one who can remove these obstacles. We are the students, we are the learners, we are the seekers, we are the mumukshus, jignasus, who are in search of the right knowledge from our Guru. Our aim is learning consciousness. For that, we need the grace of Mahaganapati. In view of that, Bhagavan Sri Adi Shankara invokes Mahaganapati as Nirguna Brahman. This can be classified as a Nirguna Upasana. It's a very rare kind of expression in prayers, the Nirguna Upasana. When we chant this, it takes us to the understanding, to the right understanding of consciousness. I am consciousness. I am pure consciousness. I am not this body, mind, sense complex. This conviction will be strongly imbibed in our hearts, in our Upalabdhisthana Buddhihi, while we chant this mantra, this shloka, this stotram, with clear understanding of the meaning. Now, let us start chanting this shloka. Ajam nirvikalpam nirakaramekam niranandam anandam advaita purnam param nirgunam nirvishesham niriham parabrahma rupam ganesham bhajema parabrahma rupam ganesham bhajema. Ajam nirvikalpam nirakaram ekam niranandam anandam advaita purnam. Ajam means unborn. This Jagat, what we seen is the illusionary projection of Mithya. The Maya Shakti projects this Jagat which is unreal. Maya Shakti can project this world, this Jagat, only with the support of Brahman. With the support of Brahman, Ishvara, the reflected consciousness, Maya Shakti projects this Jagat as we see in the form of Sukha and Dukkha, which is unreal. As far as Brahman is concerned, this Jagat is Ajam. Here, Bhagavan Shankara sees Mahaganapati as the Brahma Swarupam, so he says Ajam, unborn. Nirvikalpam. Vikalpam means modification. There is no modification, but this Jagat is subject to modification. But there is no modification as far as Brahman is concerned. Jagat is subject to modification, which is a projection, illusion, unreal. Ajam nirvikalpam. Nirakaram. Akaram. Akaram means a form. There is no form. There is no name. Nirakaram. For Brahman. Here Bhagavan Adi Shankara sees Mahaganapati as Brahma Swarupam. In that aspect, Brahma Swarupam has no form. Nirakaram. Ajam nirvikalpam nirakaram ekam. Ekam means one without second. Advitiyam. Why it is ekam? The second what we see is Mithya. which is unstable, which is anityam. When we apply nitya anitya vastu vivekaha, this world is perishable. So the perishable nature of the world confirms that this world doesn't exist. Ajam nirvikalpam nirakaram ekam. When we are negating the world, what will be remaining? Only Brahman, only I. Ajam nirvikalpam nirakaram ekam. Niranandamanandam advaita purnam. Niranandam anandam. This world is subject to dualities. Sometimes we experience sukha, sometimes we experience dukkha according to our karmic records. Always this world has dualities, day and night, good and bad, plus and minus, profit and loss, sukha, dukkha, like everything is in duality. This bliss, what we experience when we gain something, this sorrow, what we experience when we lose something, both are mithya. Bhagavan is beyond Anandam or Niranandam. Anandam is Sukha, Niranandam is Asukha, without Sukha. So Mahaganapati in the form of Brahman is beyond Anandam and Niranandam. Advaita Purnam. Advaita means one without second. The word Purnam has to be contemplated. When we negate the existence of this Jagat, we don't negate the existence of the Jagat, but the appearance of Jagat is negated. Whereas for this mithya appearance of this Jagat also, existence should be there. Existence, the form of Brahman, supports the existence of appearance of this Jagat. So what we negate? We negate the mithyatvam, the unreal nature, the falsehood of this Jagat. So, Advitiyam Purnam. After negating everything, what will be there? Shunya. This may be the final decision of a thinker. After removing everything, after negating what you perceive, what you see, what you listen, what you smell, what do you smell, what do you taste, or what you feel, if you negate this perception and the results of perceptions, what will be remaining? Naturally, one will say nothing. But our Vedanta Jnanam doesn't accept, it never accepts nothingness. If at all something is called nothingness, that also should be supported by existence. So nothingness is not possible. That is why it is called Purnam. It is ever existing. One without second, existing forever. Now, Param. Param means Brahman, the beyond. Param, Nirgunam. This Maya Shakti who projects this Jagat is the cause and in the effect, the Jagat, her own three Shaktis are available, three Gunas are available, which are Sattva, Rajas, Tamo Gunas. Whereas Brahman is Nirgunam. Nirvishesham. Vishesha, Visheshyam. If you give Vishesham, there should be Visheshyam. Without Visheshyam, you cannot give Vishesham. Some Visheshanam should be there, means Nilotpalam. Utpalam is the flower. Neelam is the Visheshanam. So, this kind of characters, attributes, gunas, Vishesha, Visheshya Bhava is not there for Brahman. Nirvishesham. Niriham, Niriham. Ih means aim, to aim for anything. There is no reason for Brahman to produce, to project this world. All of us may have question, why all these things happen? Why should a man take birth, live for some time and die? Why? Why this Jagat appears, seems to be there for some time, then get destroyed? Why it should happen? For that, the answer is Niriham. It doesn't happen. Niriham. So, now, Bhagavan says, Parabrahma Rupam Ganesham Bhajema. Parabrahma Rupam. Bhagavan invokes Mahaganapati as the Parabrahma Rupam with these kinds of explanations which are explaining the Swarupam of the nature of Brahman, and Mahaganapati is invoked, worshipped as Parabrahma Rupam Ganesham Bhajema. Let us worship Mahaganapati in the form of Parabrahmam. More we will see tomorrow.